going to be a very, very basic guitar playing night, guys. Um, I injured my finger today at work, and really badly. It really hurts. Um, and it's my middle finger. I use my middle finger for pretty much all my harmonics. I'm pretty dependent on it. So I won't be playing too much tonight. I did try about 5 minutes before the stream. I was going to play the Jackson, and then it wasn't in tune. So then I picked up the Vandenberg, and of course I haven't worked on that guitar in a long time. It's been in the case for years, and the one jack has been messing up on it. So I went right back to Old Faithful here. Um, Getting ready to take this guitar apart and start working on it, do some mods. So I don't know what I'll result back to. I might start playing my Revstar again. I did bring my Revstar out.
Jerry said, Avery, don't you know better?
You know, I hit it with a hammer, and I whacked it. I whacked it pretty good. Um, yeah, I I even knew before I did it. I said my fingers in the way. My fingers in the way. Don't swing the hammer. What did my little squirrel brain said? You're gonna be fine. You won't hit your finger. And yeah, I got it really good. It's purple on the end. I don't know if you guys can see that. The whole end of my finger. It's got a big black dot dead center. The swelling has went down. It was about the size of my thumb after I did it. The swelling has went down, but whew, boy, is it tender. Um, yeah, it's probably going to be a couple days before I play. That's okay. Last night I was struggling anyway. I've been trying to play. I'm very E and A dependent, you know. So I've been trying to learn different key structures to become kind of natural in playing. Everyone has a crutch. E and A's my crutch. Um, drop D. I can kind of piddle around in that a little bit. But last night I was doing some stuff in C, and I don't usually play in C or D open. So I'm trying to expand a little bit. And what ends up happening, you get in a routine and a cadence on certain things that you're doing across the fretboard. And you don't even think about it. You just instinctively go there. You know, some, I guess, patterns that we play will work in A. A and E are very relative as far as your patterns. You start playing in F or C and some of the other ones, you'll find that it's a little different. So I've been trying to learn how to do that kind of stuff. Just trying to open up. It's like relearning. I do want to say Jerry's in the chat tonight. Jerry's was one. Well, I think he was our first moderator. So it's good to have him in the chat. Actually, I think Jerry was our second. I believe Mike was our first moderator. But anyway, Jerry has been with the channel for a very long time. But I do think isn't Trucker Bob in here? I think Trucker Bob has the crown. I think he joined the channel when we had under 20 subscribers, I want to say. I don't know when Jerry actually joined in, but I think Trucker Bob's got the crown on that one tonight. I do see Honey Tap in here. It's good to see Honey Tap. Check out some of Honey Tap's live streams when he gets on there. He does like backing tracks and plays lead guitar and does some backing vocals, does some mixing, stuff like that. If you're into that kind of content, Honey Tap is always just doing like off the cuff kind of musical type stuff. So check out his channel, guys. It's pretty cool. I see we got many guitar societies in here.
Honeytop says, what is the sound level device you use?
The sound level device. You mean my interface? My interface, I'm running an AG08. We're getting ready to do a massive change in equipment here, guys. When I say a massive change, I'm not going to say what's going on, but let's just say pretend you've never picked up a guitar and, well, okay. Everyone here is a guitar player.
Your,
I'm going to hand you all a violin,
your decibel meter.
my decibel meter. I am over cranking just a little bit. Let me turn.
What is it?
I am using OBS for
Your
my.
decibel meter, dear, behind you. What is it?
That's from Amazon. I forget which one it is. There's a link. It's an SND way, Sendway, and I think it was like $60 on Amazon. So it's actually pretty nice. It uses USB for powering. I want to say when I did the monsoon video, the Leo James monsoon video, that was the first video that I used the VU meter, the decibel meter, and I did that because everyone was kind of curious. Wow, you're getting a really cool sound. And back then, I was only using my tube amp and open mics. And I go back and watch some of those reviews, and it's quite amazing how good I got those reviews. Because at the time, I was using the built-in microphone on the GoPro 10. The built-in microphone on a GoPro 10 is outstanding. Don't buy a GoPro 11, don't buy the 12, don't buy the 13. There's minimum improvements. And the GoPro 11, 12, and 13, the microphones aren't near as good. The 10 is the one. If you're wanting something to do basic YouTube stuff, all my videos for the last 2 years have been shot with GoPro 10s, and I do still have a GoPro 8. I do not recommend, even though you can get GoPros 8 super cheap, that they just don't, the clarity isn't there. I think the sweet spot's the GoPro 10 for shooting if you guys want to get into basics. But we're getting ready to do some massive equipment changes here. Don't want to really talk about it too much because what I was saying about if someone in the group just wants to pick up a violin, yeah, we know how to play guitar. We understand notes. We understand structures and what goes together, but we've never played it. That's how I'm going to feel. My new equipment is nothing like my rack mount gear. I love my old rack mount gear, but I am moving on to the digital realm. We're going to start gradually transforming my equipment to work better with doing YouTube. And not only that, just in recording, it's going to be so much better. I come from the TRS-8 and Blackface ADAT days. Completely different monster. Nowadays, with digital hard disk recording and DAWs, it's kind of, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole which one I think's better. Digital is still digital, and analog has its place. It's just easier. Like what I was just playing, that's a little Yamaha amplifier right here. So I get it. People, this little amplifier, we're just coming right out of the headphone jack to my interface. It's really that simple. And if I want to change sounds, I got a better unit. I've got an HX Stomp. Now I can just turn a knob. That's high gain. Lead channel. Crunch channel. And a clean channel. I have bass, treble, mid right on the front, a master, a gain, basic effects, okay, just by turning the knob. I can't get into the length of time and all that. It's basics. Yeah, I can just reach over and kind of change it. It works. The advantage to it is I don't have a speaker, so I don't hear anything unless I have my headphones on. So the me talking into the microphone and playing now really isn't a problem. 'Cause I can sit here and talk to you, but guys, as I play, this isn't being influenced by the amplifier the way it was when I was using my tube rack. And even that now, I'm coming out of the main bus into this little guy. So we're bypassing the power amp even on my rack mount tube amplifier. And it seems to do okay. This is just easier. I don't have max 15-foot controller out here, and that's more cables I got to run across the floor. I mean, if once I get things set up, it would be nice to have the X15 on the floor with my 2 expression pedals. I can go through all my effects chains. I can MIDI control things. But just doing the live streams, I like being able to just reach over right here and turn a knob and change my guitar. Like I said, my finger's really sore. Up to a gain channel or a lead channel. It's just easy. Things have changed so much. I want to learn. You know, I don't want to, I'm not saying the new stuff's, you know, better. It's better in a lot of ways. Is the old stuff bad? I don't think it is. But I know how to, I'm not saying I'm great, but I know how to use rack mount equipment and in EQs and processing. The digital stuff though, okay, let's say you have a digital mixer and you're using plugins. If I have a channel strip plug-in, I can have that plug-in on every channel at a different setting. I'm only using one plug-in. The way my system is now, if I want to use my channel strip, which I have one true full channel strip, I can only put it on one microphone. I can put a bunch of microphones in it, but I can't have a different setting for each microphone. I have to have a $300 channel strip for every channel that has a microphone. With digital, I don't need that. I can buy for $200 a year, I can buy an effects package, and it just comes with reverbs, delays, compressions, gates, limiters, channel strips, de-essers, you name it, low frequency, high frequency, shelf cutoffs, all kinds of crap. And I can put all that crap on every channel and have independent control of everything without influencing channel 11 or channel 12 and have no racks. It's all done on the computer. You know, that's nice. But if you go to Sweetwater and you look, they still have tube rack mount mic preamps, and they're $5,000 and $6,000. If digital was so awesome and so much better, why are these $10,000, $20,000 mic tube preamps still being made? Because they are better. Digital's getting there, guys, but it lacks the warmth, and it just misses something. So really, really high-end studios, they still have, you know, the old stuff, the old Lexicon rack mount delays from the 90s. You know, they're awesome. But I can do all that digitally, and no one here watching would ever be able to tell. And I just have to realize I love my tube amp. I do. But this little guy right here does fine. And when I come home from work, I plug into it. I enjoy it. Is it as nice as this? No. Is it better than this? In some ways, the effects are better. I hate to say it, but they are. I've been tinkering around now for a good 7 or 8 months, going back and forth between the Agnator, and I can't beat the reverb in that unit. The old Tank spring reverb, it's just got a sound. You know, it's not a Fender. I mean, the Fender, you want a big, clean, beautiful sound that's clean, buy a Fender. Get yourself a deluxe reverb, or Princeton, If you really want to get big, buy yourself a 70, 71, 72 Fender Twin Reverb with some JBLs on it. There's nothing louder and nothing cleaner. Believe me, there's nothing louder. There is not a louder amp on the market than a Fender Twin Reverb. It will cut your head off loud and still be clean. But my Egnator, it's got a great reverb, just like the Fenders. I can't get that reverb sound from this unit out of this one. I can get a reverb, but it's not open and airy like the Egnator. And I'm sure the Fender, you know, I used to have a Fender Twin Reverb. I dumb and sold it. Just like I had my Fender Twin Reverb and my custom shop Kalamazoo, Michigan Gibson Explorer with a Gigsby. It was custom shop from Kalamazoo, custom ordered. I sold both of them. I sold both of them for $1,500. And my Twin Reverb amp was, when I say mint, it was mint condition. At the time, you know, 91, 92, that was the going price. The Explorer was about a 79 or an 80, I think, because it was ordered from G&M Music, and the guy backed out of it. And it sat in their showroom for years. I remember being little, you know, 10 years old and going in there and going, I want that guitar, and I was drooling over it. This big, gaudy Explorer that was black, and it looked like someone threw white paint all over it with this big, huge Gigsby tremolo on it. And I would go in there every time my mother would go to Winchester. The doctor's office was right there, and I would drag her in there, and I would go, I want that guitar, I want that guitar. And it was $1,700 back then. It was a crazy amount of money. And I was a tour guide at a cavern. Tour guide, you know, giving tours. I made $2 an hour because we had tips. And it's so funny. The salesman there left G&M and started Shandor Music. That's my whole relationship. That's why I'm saying build a relationship with your local store. It never goes away, guys. Roger sold me my first real guitar. And I told him, I said, man, I make no money. I make $2 an hour. This guitar is like $1,700. You know, he goes, we'll put it on layaway. I said, 3 months? Come on. I can't, you know, I'm working summer job or go back to school. I can't do it. I was like 15 at the time. And so he went in to the owner and said, look, this kid wants this guitar. He's been drooling over it for years. He promises he will come in every paycheck and give you $50. And that's what I did. I went in every paycheck and I gave him $50. It took me a year, almost 2 years, to pay off that Gibson. And I remember bringing that thing home and being so proud that I had a Gibson. I had a Gibson Explorer, and I had worked almost 2 years scraping pennies, cutting grass, doing whatever I could do to pay this guitar off. And my father bought me my Fender Twin Reverb amp because he thought I'd never stick with it. You know, oh, that's too much money. You're not making enough money. You'll never stick with it. You're never going to stick with it. You know, you're not going to play that old beat up guitar and take every penny you have and give to them until that guitar is paid off. And I kept saying, I want that guitar. And he goes, well, you don't even have an amplifier. And he kept picking on me about it. And I said, why don't you buy me an amp? Why don't you buy me an amp? Buy me a real amp. You know, because I had a beat up guitar and a piece of junk amplifier. And he was like, I tell you what, if you go through with this and you work and you actually get that guitar, I will go out and get you a good amplifier. And I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. Yeah, I thought he was pulling my chain. So I bring this thing home and I'm like, I got me a Gibson. Dad says he's going to get me an amplifier. You know, I bring it home. He comes home from work. I'm like, hey, Dad, Gibson. And I could just see his face. The color went out of his face, you know. This is, 82, 83, maybe, something like that, give or take. I don't remember. And he goes, okay. He's working in Orange, Virginia at a silk mill factory. Yeah, when the family was not rich. My dad was a foreman at a silk mill factory. They made cloth for clothing and drapery. Not a rocket scientist, just an average income, and mom didn't work. So that brought the income down even more. So I could see the color come out of his face, and he's like, uh-huh. And I'm like, you remember, you said you were going to get me a good amplifier. Well, being young, I didn't even know Gibson made amplifiers. They wasn't at the time. I'm like, I want a Fender amplifier. That's what I want. I want a Fender. Because a Fender or Vox, that's pretty much all I knew. And I knew nowhere where you could get a Vox, or anything like that. So I'm like, oh, I want a Fender amp. So he was working down in Orange, and there was a store down in Orange, and he went in there, and the guy said, look, I know where there's a nice, like new, used one. The guy he bought new. Give this guy a call. He brought it in. He was going to, sell it and trade up, but I got to make money. And I told him that I would just refer people his way. I want to say my father bought that amplifier for about $600 or $700, is what I'm thinking. I know what you're thinking. Well, that's not a lot of money. It was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. I just paid stupid money for this Gibson. That's why he thought I would never go through with it. That Gibson was like $1,600. They sold it to me because it was in there for so long. Nobody in their right mind doing what I did and the money I made would pay that kind. He was like, there's no way he's going to stick with it. I'll tell him, he's going to go in and just cave and just take something else that they have. And I don't even remember what they sold at the time. I think it was Gibson, Fender. There was another brand there, but at the time, the Explorer was just it. Here's this wild-looking body style, that I remember, the Scorpion, stuff like that. You got that Explorer body style, and it had that wild-looking tailpiece on it, the wild paint job. I'm like, that's my guitar. And, when he asked me about an amp, I'm like, I want a Fender. I didn't think Marshall. MTV wasn't around then. So there's not a visual connection. I'd never been to a concert, but I heard people talk about Fender, and I'm like, well, Fender makes good amps. I'll get me a Fender amp. Wrong amplifier for playing rock music. A Fender Twin Reverb is not the amplifier for rock music. But that's what I got. And I bought pedals for it, all kinds of stuff trying to make that amp do what it was never supposed to do. So I did trade it in and sell it. I think it was $1,500 for the guitar and the amplifier. I get back on topic. It's amazing how some of the old stuff comes back. That's why I was talking about some of my rack gear is very sought after, like this Pro Valve. That's a sought after amplifier. I put that thing on reverb. I guarantee it won't be on at $1,200. I guarantee you that amplifier will not be on reverb more than a week at $1,200, and it's 30 years old. If anyone watched Philip McKnight's video about 3 weeks ago, he built an 80s rack. He didn't use the Pro Valve, he used a Moss valve. Why? The Moss valve's more readily available, and it doesn't have the tube. It's a solid state MOSFET amplifier. It's not the one, but it has the 80s look. Only the Pro Valve is the tube one. The Moss valve was the cheap, I just need a rack mount power amplifier. And that's the one he used, was the Moss valve. And I was so excited when I saw the video, I clicked on it, and as soon as I saw a Moss valve, I'm like, ugh. And then he had one of the new purple Sedano rack mount units that have the IRs. And I'm like, well, no one had that in the 80s, late 80s. There was no such thing as IRs. It wasn't a 3-channel Sedano rack mount amplifier. He had a 2-channel, and it was very rare. You know, it was just an aluminum faceplate with holes drilled in it with potentiometers pushed through it. And he handwritten Sedano on the side of it. They did exist, but there were these amplifiers, the Ferret. Well, I don't even think Ferret was out then. I think it was VHT, Pro Valve. I think Marshall made one that wasn't too popular. There was very few real. I think Mesa Boogie did make a rack mount power amp. But there was very few rack mount power amplifiers. So when I clicked on the video and I saw it, I was kind of disappointed because that's a good opportunity to really go through some of the old stuff that has value. Look at, I mean, everyone here, we're not young people, okay? Well, most of my crowd is 35 and older. So if you bought something new when you just started playing, it's got some age on it. You need to get on Reverb. You can do it for free. Just type in what you got and see what the average price of what something is selling for. Especially if you're thinking about selling something and you don't think it's worth something. You might be surprised what you don't necessarily care for that might be actually pretty valuable. My PV Vandenberg right here. Let me show you my Vandenberg. I'm going to unplug here. Show you one of my guitars. This is an original PV Vandenberg. It's not a copy. It's not a clone. It's a PV Vandenberg. This is a 1990 model, and it has the Kahler Spider tremolo. It's a Gen 2. When I ordered this guitar, I ordered it during the Gen 1, and I wanted the Kahler Killer Bridge because all my other PVs had it. When this one came in, it had the Spider because the lawsuit was settled and Kahler could no longer produce that bridge. So PV had to redo the routing for the new bridge. But this is one of those guitars that has really come up into stupid value. As beat up as this guitar is in, it's on Reverb in fair condition. When I say fair, some of them get some pretty bad chips at them. They're going from $1,200 to $1,500. This one I'm going to say is in good condition. It's not great, it's not excellent, it's definitely not mint. It's good. It's got a couple dents, lots of scratches, sweat marks on the back of the neck from playing out live. But I'm going to say that this guitar would sell anywhere from $1,500 to $1,700. And I paid $1,200 for it. I'd say that's pretty good because most of our equipment that we buy, it loses value. Very rarely do we get something and we purchase it and we keep it and it gains value. Most of my equipment has not. My Pro Valve has, my 6L6 power amp, it's gained value. I paid, I don't know, $700, for that, and I bought it used. The gentleman bought it for his guitar rig, didn't like it, traded it in on the, I think either the Marshall or the Mesa Boogie power amp. I don't remember which one it was. And the guy at Rolls Music called me. He goes, hey, you're looking for a rack mount tube power amp? I just got one in on trade, Pro Valve. Come down. I'll hold it for you until you get here. But you got to get here today. And I never forget, a little short black fella guy. His afro was taller than he was. His afro would rub the door as he went in. Coolest cat you ever met. He was a recording studio guy. And I said, man, where's that amp? He goes, right over here. And it was used for $750. So now that amplifier goes for $1,200. Build a relationship with your store. I had a relationship with Rolls Music because I did studio work back then. So I would go in with all the studio guys and we bought reel-to-reel stuff, Apex tape, bought compressors, ADAT stuff, all that kind of crap. That's what we went in there to get. So I told him, I said, look, I got this art off of him. That's where this ART came from. I said, I need a power amp. He said, I'll keep an eye out for you. You're always getting trade-ins in there, people trading up. If you know your local store, when people bring in stuff, sometimes they're hurting for money. That's happened to me, guys. You know, life isn't perfect. Sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes we have to let something go because an emergency comes up. I bought my Kramer in there. I bought an 86 Kramer Pacer Imperial. I guess it's been about 2 years ago now. Shenandoah Music called me. Again, connection. The person that started Shenandoah Music, Roger, sold me that Gibson. Now his nephews bought the store, and I remember them working there from when they were 18 and up. Build a relationship. When that guitar come in the door, they said, I know somebody that would want this guitar. Yes, we'll take it. As soon as I walked in, Matt was like, I got something that you want to see. And I knew when he pointed his finger at me, I felt my wallet catch on fire because I knew I was going to buy it. Matt doesn't come up and point his finger, I got something that you want. Then I know. He knows me as a customer. He knows what I like. He opened that case, and here's a mint condition 1986 Kramer Pacer Imperial in the flip-flop purple pink. And that was it. I looked at him, I'm like, okay, how much? It was like, what, $1,200, hon?
I think so.
It was expensive. $1,200 for an 86. But stop and think about it, guys. That's not expensive. That's a stupid good guitar. It's I forget, Ciro or somebody, I know ESP made necks for them, and there was another company like Ciro. A great guitar. There was a reason why Kramer dominated the industry back then. Build a relationship with your store. When stuff like that comes in, they're going to call you. They're going to set it aside for you. All this come around to, I kept going into Shenandoah, like, I want to upgrade my equipment because I'm getting into YouTube, I'm doing live streams, I'm doing more stuff, and I like my rack mount digital delay units, my DSP units, I like my channel strips. I just fired up my rack mount tuner. Okay, check this out, guys. Got a rack mount tuner here. I'm going to turn on the other camera so you guys can see it. Bottom of the rack right here, rack mount tuner. You can see the flashing red light. So as I tune, it'll move across and tune for me. I've had that unit for 30 years. Really can't see it. I don't think this, the other camera's too far away. But this is the rack mount tuner. When you buy equipment, it doesn't necessarily go bad. How much better, I hate to say it, how much better is a tuner? I have a Robertson strobe tuner right here. It's far superior to my rack mount tuner. It's a strobe tuner. But I can get on Reverb, I can buy one of these RT6, this one's an RT1601. They also had an RT1600 and an RT1602. It's just different production runs. You can get them all day long for $35, $50. And it's an extremely accurate tuner. And you can program it for different tuning functions. You want a nice tuner and you don't want to spend a lot of money? Sabian, rack mount. Also, Korg made some great rack mount tuners.
Mikey said Peterson's.
Robertson, sorry. Yeah, it's a Peterson RoboStrobe or something. That's it's so funny that I say Robertson. Someone pointed that out in one of my reviews. I said, I've got a Robertson tuner here. And the guy said Robertson in the comments, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it's a Peterson. So in the next video, I looked at the camera and I went, and my Peterson strobe, I don't know, I've got a hang up. I always call it a Robertson for some strange reason. But for $150, that's a great tuner. It's far superior to my rack tuner. But if you guys are looking for an inexpensive, nice tuner, look into a rack mount tuner.
Indeed has one. Says it's so good.
Yeah. You can put that thing on stage with you, and you can be on the other side of the stage. Hit your note, turn around, look at it, and you'll know. If it's flashing to the left, it's flat. It flashes to the right, it's sharp. When it goes to the green, you're in tune. And it's very sensitive. It's very sensitive. And every note is delegated by an LED at the bottom. So if you tune to A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, or G sharp, once you memorize the lighting sequence on the front, you'll automatically know which note you're hitting and which tuning structure you're on.
String Pickers says, off topic, what is your opinion on the Egnator amp in the background? Saw one like that on Marketplace not long ago. Thought about jumping on it.
You want to be careful, string pickers. There are certain years that had transformer problems. That's what killed Egnator. The Egnators sound phenomenal. They really do. Imagine the biggest, here's how you can look at an Egnator. Take a Fender and then take a Marshall JCM 800. Let them have a baby. And that's what you're going to get. It has a really wonderful clean sound with a really nice spring reverb. It has 2 channels. This is a Renegade. It's a 2-channel Renegade. The second channel has some butt, just like a JCM 800. If you push the front of the second channel with a boost pedal or a TC9, you'll get all the JCM 800 juiciness. You'll get the 80s sound out of it. It will not do modern rock sounds. It's not a rectifier. It's not a dual rectifier. But if you like really super clean sounds, crunch, rhythm and blues type stuff, and the 80s rock distortion, that amplifier will do all of that very, very well. I think this is I think from 2010 to 2012, the Renegade was a really good amp. Definitely do your research though. Renegade had a run of amplifiers where the transformers were no good. Just stay away from those years. Mike doesn't come into our chat too much. Mike builds pedals and he's an amp service guy. He's also a moderator. We reached out to Mike last month about some questions for Birdman, and Mike just hasn't gotten back to us. I know he's really busy with his job. He like I said, he's like me. He's always downstairs working on someone's tube amplifier. If we can get a hold of Mike, Mike has a list of every Egnator, like the Tweaker. If you can find a Tweaker, the Tweakers were phenomenal little amplifiers. Great little amplifiers. I picked the Renegade because it was 2-channel, and they make a great extension cabinet for it. I've been looking for a really nice extension cabinet that has the black with the tan center to match it. I've seen a couple, but the logo's been break or it's got a tear in the Torlex. This amp is mint. So I don't want to buy a cabinet that's not in really good shape. If you can get one, they're great amplifiers. I paid $350 for this one. It's mint. I thought that was a great deal. It's a good sounding amp. Got a ton of headroom. It's really unique. It's got, see right there, it's got 6 little knobs. So you have a master level and an effect loop, send and return, and a gain where it comes back through. And then you also have a gain per channel and an independent mid, low, high, and presence for each channel. An effects loop. It has an auxiliary speaker out for an extension cabinet. It's a nice amplifier. And it also has a foot switch, so you can manually foot change it from channel to channel. For $350, if you can find one, believe me, you're not going to be upset with the amplifier. It's a nice amplifier. I wanted something that I could get some really nice cleans out of, and crunches. I've already got my high gain amp. This will do high gain, just a little bit different. I wanted a nice crunch amp like a rhythm and blues to early, like a 70s rock distortion up into the late 70s with super good cleans. And this amplifier just nails that kind of stuff, if that makes sense. Also look for a tweaker. The tweaker was a good amp. There was another one they made that was really nice. It's called a Stage Master or something like that. That's the Cadillac one. That's a 212. That one is stupid nice. But usually they go for anywhere from $700 to $1,000 for one in really good condition. I want to say it's a Stage Master. 212, dual channel, really awesome amplifier. I really wanted that one. It just comes down to money. This, Mike told me, he said, look, for the money, get a Renegade. You're going to be stupid happy with it. It's got a great 12-inch speaker in it. I forget which speaker's in this. I'm happy with it. But I actually wanted the bigger one. And in a way, I guess I'm kind of glad I didn't get it, because that 212 would just be a monster to pick up. This thing's heavy enough, but the 212 one, it's going to be heavy. My old Fender Twin Reverb was a tank. So two 12-inch speakers and the amplifier all in one box. It's going to be heavy. I mean, it's going to be heavy. Let me put this guy back up. So I'm going to make some changes. I want to keep learning. You know, that's the thing. I don't want to stop learning. So this new change that I'm making, it's going to be a huge learning curve. But it is going to open up some possibilities, because I'm going to be able to divide up some equipment. And I'm going to be able to take some equipment downstairs. And we can start doing some streams while I work on guitars. You know, some live tutorials on fret dressing, you know, and stuff like that. I think it would be cool. We've been doing a lot of, you can see the cabinet behind me with stuff like this. We've been doing a lot of that in my living room. And it's kind of hard because my shop's downstairs. If you watch my other videos on repairing, that's my shop. So I'll be able to take some equipment down there, do some live streams from down there, and then just do our standard streams from here. That's 2026. It's going to take time, though. I have ordered the first piece of equipment, but I need to update my computer and some other things. So hopefully during the year, guys, you guys are going to see a change in the channel. Probably not too much yet on the visual. We're going to have to stick with these cameras until I get everything else worked out. I don't want to make too many changes until I get a better understanding of what I'm doing. And I'm going to lean on you guys too. So anybody that's familiar with the more modern digital stuff, I'm about ready. I am going head first into the realm of digital, whether it's digital mixing, using plugins, stuff like that. I am converting over to that just for the ease of it. I've already got my nice stuff, you know, that I can plug in my tube stuff. So everyone talks about this and the ease. I can see where it would be so much better, and so just playing with this AG08 and this little Yamaha here has taught me. I get it. I get why people have went this way now. I really do. It's good, and it's so much easier to operate and use.
Jerry said, see if you can learn to quit injuring your fingers, LOL.
Yeah, I did a good number on it, man. It is, I mean, sitting here just talking, it's sore. I really whacked it good. And it's not shown on the camera, it's a black dot. And from here all the way around, it's just, you can see how it's swollen. And it was the size of my thumb all day. So the swelling has went way down. But I was going to play, but it's just not going to happen. Even last night, we got on, Brian didn't really have a stream last night. He was, you know.
He's on here tonight.
Oh, cool. Hopefully everything checked out good with you, Brian. And the old saying, if someone hadn't said, I always say, you know, to Trucker Bob, truckers keep stuff going in the stores. Without truckers, we wouldn't have anything. Without firefighters, we wouldn't be able to, think about what firefighters do, guys. So you need to reach out to your local fire department and thank them for what they do, because they not only, run when your house catches on fire, but they respond to car accidents, when your cat's in the tree, everything. It's not just the fire department. They do a lot. The fire department is very in your community. Our fire department here does bingo, does checkers, does all kinds of neat stuff, fireman's parade. They're very in the community.
They
and they're
also
always
drive
out.
Santa Claus around on Christmas.
That's
Eve.
right. They cater Santa Claus around in Christmas. So everyone needs to thank Brian for his service. It's just like military. If anyone here did military service, thank you for the service that you did to the country. I don't say that enough, but I always make it a point to bring it up to Bob. Thank you, Bob. Without you, I can't go to Walmart and get anything. Everything has to be transported on a truck, just like police officers and everything else. We kind of take all that stuff for granted. We do. So just thank you, Brian, for what you did. Trucker Bob, thank you, and anybody else that had anything to do with that. Have you used True Oil on paint? I've used True Oil base paints with like linseed oil. If True Oil is like a finish, I've probably used a finish that has whatever that compound is, if True Oil is a brand. I've pretty much used everything, from catalyzed lacquer to, there probably isn't a finish. I've used UV finishes, like I said, lacquer finishes, urethane finishes, water-based finishes, epoxy finishes, resin finishes. I've dabbled in pretty much all of them over the years at the shop. My personal preference in manufacturing is UV. I think the UV finish is the future, simply because of what I say earlier about digital stuff. It's easy to work with, and it solves a lot of problems, and it has very few negatives. UV, I can take a guitar and I can hang it and I can spray it with a UV finish. If I take my UV light, I go 1, 2, like this around the guitar, I can pick that guitar up, put it on the table and sand it. It's ready. It's cured. I can sand it right now. 15 minutes later, put it back on the hanger, blow it off, tack cloth it down, and I can put the second coat on it. UV light it. It's cured. It's done.
Jerry said, isn't that the name of the gunstock oil?
It probably is. I use Tried and True, Jerry. If you want to, I don't know if you have a Woodcrafters, well, you can get it on Amazon. You can just type in Google Tried and True. It is a phenomenally good wood finish for your guitar necks. Brian's in the chat right now. I think Jupe is in the chat as well. So Jupe and Brian both have felt guitar necks that have been refinished with Tried and True.
Minnie
So,
says, if you swap a 250K pot out for a 500K pot, can you get the original sound by rolling it back a bit?
It's more about resistance. I'm sure there's a spot where that takes place, but everyone knows, I've said this before, I'm more of a woodworker, finisher, and fret guy. Electronics are my weak point. Do I do electronics? Yes, I do. But when it comes to resistance and stuff like that, there's so many tricks. I know tricks. There is a point where everything crosses over. It's like a frequency. Okay. At some point, you're lessening the resistance, or you're actually increasing the resistance. That way, it cuts off the. So a 250 pot at some point does have to go across the point of the same. It's like the old saying, it's just recommended, a 500K pot on a humbucker and a 250 on a single. Fender does it a lot. The Humbucker single Strat uses a 500K pot. Well, why is it using a 500? I got two single coils up here. So I think you should be more concerned about the cap that you use or the tone bleed capacitor. How much tone bleed are you going to use a tone bleed in the circuit? Changing those two capacitors will change how, when you roll the volume back, how the treble does or does not bleed off and get dark. So if you've got a tone and you turn your tone back and you also turn your volume back, without a tone bleed circuit, as you turn that volume back, you're going to lose high-end tone. So between your volume being turned back and your tone, you can darken your single a lot. If it darkens too much and that's what you like, you need to change your cap. Maybe go to a .02 versus a 3.3 or a 4.8. Now, it might be a little bright with your volume all the way up and your tone all the way up, but if you're one of those players that's always just kind of rolling back on the volume and then just rolling it up during the lead, that might be the sweet spot. Because when you roll up max on that volume, it's going to give it a little bit more punch, a little more bite for your distortion channel. But yet you can roll that volume back, the tone's going to bleed off without a tone bleed circuit, and make it a little warmer sounding. I can't tell you what's going to work, because what you feel sounds good may or may not be what I think sounds good. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but every time I tell somebody, you're going to love this, they hear it like, I kind of like this. And you listen to it, it's like, you like that more than that? It's not that what they like isn't any good, it's what they like. So you got to, as a tech, you got to kind of learn that. And that's what I like when people come back. I ask them, what about this? What about this? What'd you think of this? And then over time, again, right back to your music store, you build a relationship with that person. And when they come up to you and say, I want more bite, well, that person's bite might be different than the guy down the street. His terminology is different, but you know the person. You know how he talks, how he plays. You know what he's liked in the past and what he hasn't liked. So you kind of throw a dart and go, why don't you try this? So for me, I think the 500K pot works pretty much everywhere. And then just change your capacitor on your tone. If you think it's too dark sounding, maybe go to a .022, .033, something like that, instead of the 4.8, especially if you got two single coils. You can do that. I would change your cap before changing the volume and the tone.
eArt says RG or AZ preference. I have ArtCore, but looking for the Ibanez Experience. HSH or HSS?
The RG and AZ are completely different guitars. If you like a Fender Strat, if you're a Strat guy, buy an AZ. The AZ is a better Strat.
He mostly plays classic rock, 80s metal, and some jazz fusion.
All right, let me ask you another question, eArts. Do you prefer a thinner neck or a thicker neck? Because the RG will do what you described and the AZ will do what you described. The AZ is going to be more of a Strat type neck. It's going to be rounder, a little thicker. The RG is going to be a little flatter and a little thinner. The AZ neck is going to have more of a radius. I think it's a 12 on that. And most of the RGs are 15.75. So there's your comparison. If you like the feel of a 12-inch radius Strat in the back of the neck, I would definitely go with an AZ. It's a better Strat. They've taken all the little things that people complained about and they've updated it. They put a little bit more radius on it. They eased the back of the neck a little bit to make it more comfy. They changed the angle, the break angle of the string going to the tuners. The bridge is a little different. It's more precise than the 6 screw And even the new Fender twin post, the Ibanez bridge on the AZs, it's a good bridge. So with that in mind, if you like a flatter radius neck and a thinner neck, I would go RG, if that makes sense. As far as sound, an EQ will make those guitars. You can get like this one right here. This is an RG. I don't know how much money you got to spend, but they make this guitar in a bunch of different. Linnell has a blue one in here that's beautiful. This is an RGA 42AH. I paid $450 for this guitar, and this is a phenomenal guitar for $450. It is a hardtail though, so if you want a floating bridge, this isn't the one. Okay, but they make it in a blue. I got the blue one in the other room. I can get it if you want to see it. But this is a phenomenal guitar for $450. I bought this one because I liked Linnell so much. You know, great guitar. Another good one you might want to think about. eArt. Let me grab one off the wall here. This might be a good mix between the AZ and the RG. This is an Ibanez S model, and they have Ibanez S models from $450 all the way up to like $5,000. This is one that cost $450. It is stupid thin. The guitar weighs about 5 pounds. Stupid light. It is a hardtail. Got quantum pickups in it. This is a stupid playing guitar. I mean, really. This guitar will do it all. And what I like the most about it, it's really thin. Now, if you want one with a tremolo, I did a review. Go to the main page. I think it's which review was that? It was the review from Shenandoah Music Con. It's an S620, I think.
I don't remember. He said a hardtail would be great.
Yeah. This might be a good, comfortable medium. This is a 15.75 radius on the neck, but it's really thin. And I love these quantum pickups. And you can find this guitar for $450. The drawback to this one, the only thing I don't like about this one, is they didn't put the matching color on the headstock. But this is a Dragon Eye Burst. It is freaking beautiful. Look at the dragon. That flame. See how it's not like the budget guitars. See how that changes and morphs? When the light hits it. Now it is a veneer, but for it to shift like that, that means it's at least 3/32 of an inch thick. It's not paper thin like some of the Fireflies and the Leo James and the Grote. Well, Grote, it's not even real. It's what they call a phototop. They just take a picture and glue it on it. But the Leo James and Firefly, it is a laminate, but it's really thin. And most of the time, the top doesn't shift on it. See how that shifts? It's a beautiful instrument. And play this one right out of the box, man. The tuning keys are good. The pickups are good. If you want to modify it, you can.
eArt says you do like the quantum pickups. Cool. That S series looks great.
Yeah, the quantums are nice. And everyone that knows that's been on the channel will tell you I do like the quantums. And it's funny because the first RGA that I showed you, I bought upgraded pickups for it. And there's a running thing on our Discord that says when I put my pickups in it, I'm not going to like it and I'm going to put the quantums back in it. I do like the quantums. So I bought PAFs for this because I want a certain sound. I want a PAF sound. That doesn't mean I'm going to like it. I may put them in there and go, you know what, I like the quantums better. Is there anything wrong with the quantums? Absolutely not. I just wanted a PAF in that one. Because this is Linnell's guitar. It's got quantums. Linnell has a blue RGA that has the quantums. So it would be nice with one RGA having the quantums and the other RGA having PAFs. So it gives me the same guitar with a little bit different flavor, if that makes sense. She said she doesn't want me to play it. She wants me to hang it up.
No, I asked if you want me to hang it up.
Here, let me give you some sounds on this thing. It's a great little guitar. And before you all say anything, like I said, I hurt my finger really bad. Is this? It might be. This thing might be tuned to. Yeah, I'm tuned. I'm tuned to a weird tuning. Hold on, guys. So I really messed up my finger. That's my board. Hear that crackling? We are about to fix the board.
Indeed says we are into a bunch of the same gear. Did you ever play or get into the Parker Fly guitars in the 90s?
I always wanted a Parker Fly.
On my list of must grabs, still just haven't found the one yet.
You know, I was looking at Parkers for a long time, and I hate to say it, if you're looking for a Parker like I was, I think you and I, my friend, lost the ability to be able to get one at a reasonable price. The Parkers have just went through the roof. Now, Parker did make an import, like the PM, I think it was a PM20, a PM40. You can still get those reasonable, but even those are going through the roof. But the Parker, the one that you want with the strange horn and the radiused neck pocket, a lot of people don't realize a Parker does not have a flat neck pocket. The neck pocket is radiused. So when that neck goes in, it sets it at that radius. And it contours around the neck. The machine work and the craftsmanship that Parker had, it was insane. It was insane. I think what got him was that strange horn. You know, people looked at it and said, that's just strange. And by the time he got the Les Paul looking one with the smaller horn, like the PM20, I think it was too late at that point. If he would have just calmed the shape down just a little bit, I think the guitar would have been a little bit more receivable. And it had it's a high pressure, some of the guitars had a high pressure laminate, and the frets are glued on. There's not a tang to the fret. So it's a completely different construction. And before people say, oh my gosh, they glued the frets on, believe me, the Parker was an awesome guitar. Some of them had piezo pickups built into the bridge that you could blend. They also had stereo outputs. You had a blend knob where you could go passive to the piezo. Just so many innovations on that guitar. But I think we're past the point of, well, I don't know about you. It's past the point of me being able to get a Parker.
He says, yeah, they're 6K plus now.
Yeah, my board just, here it guys. Hold on, let me play with my board real quick. Yeah, my board is shot, guys. It's 30 years old. So here's the Ibanez Quantums. Here's our bridge position. There went the other channel just cut on. Roll the tone back just a little bit. Second position. Just lost the channel again. My board is gone. Center position. Up to our fourth position. Yeah, it's dead. The Quantums have a good sound. Fifth position. they really do. They have a good sound. When you bring it up to like a crunchy setting, in a second position, if my board would not break up and lose connection, guys, that's the issue. It's really messed up. Okay, a little bit of crunch. Yeah, the problem is it's the little push switches, Blue Mox, and I got to take the whole thing apart. It needs to be cleaned. That's the main issue. It's just dirty contacts, and that's okay. Like I said, I want to move in to the more digital stuff, and that's a 100% analog board. I mean, if I sit there and I push the button, and I move the sliders, it might be okay for 2 or 3 weeks. I might do it. It's a shame to throw it away. It's a shame to sell it cheap. It's a VLZ 16 Pro Mackie. Very nice board. So I do know a guy in Strasbourg. I could probably take it over to him. I just don't feel like messing with it. He can open it up, spray out all the potentiometers, give it a good vacuuming inside, clean all the push buttons on it, take the tool in there, clean all the jacks. He probably wouldn't charge me, too much to do it.
The Blue Mox says Avery some deoxit on the board.
Yeah, it just needs a good cleaning. It's never had one in 30 years. So a lot of that's just, it needs a cleaning. And you can hear it going back and forth. So basically what I did is I have that guitar signal going to all 4 subgroups now.
Blue Mox says he's a cheap but contact cleaner and a shot of WD-40.
Here it is with some gain. Boy, it's bad tonight, guys. I don't know why it's being so ornery. It's push the button in a couple more times. It just did it again. Here, get cutting out. Yeah, it hasn't been this bad since I started YouTube. A couple times I'll have to get up and do it, but it's never been this bad. Either way, you can hear the one channel. Needs a good cleaning.
I think it might be break time.
Yeah. Just gotta keep moving the sliders. All right, let's try it now. The guitar sounds good. Yeah, I need to schedule check back on my eyelids. Oh, okay, Jerry. Thank you so much for coming in, man. It's good seeing you. I know that you get in here whenever you can, but I like when Jerry comes in, man. Jerry's used to come in and really he was one of the first people that would come in and really prop up the channel as far as the reviews. You know, I remember when it was said this guy shoots it straight, and I still remember that comment that he posted. So, thank you so much, Jerry. Get some rest. Um, yeah, I mean my equipment's old, so we are going to be updating, and the board is one of the things that we're going to be updating really soon. But if you're thinking about between the two, look into one of these little S models. They do make an S620 that has the Edge tremolo. Go watch my review on that guitar, and we actually have a review on this one as well. They're both S models, so go check those out. And we also have reviews on both the RGA models, and we have a review on a PWM 20. The one I received from Sweetwater wasn't that good. I'll be honest with you, you might like the PWM 20. I think this is a better instrument for a third the money. The PWM 20 now is 1600. You can get this guitar for 450. And before I bought a PWM 20, I would buy the new 620 with the Floyd that we did a review on from Shenandoah Music. So check those out before you pull the trigger on one. All right, guys, it's definitely break time. If you're new here, please go down, hit the thumbs up buttons, guys. Please subscribe. You don't have to be a subscriber to chat. That doesn't mean I don't want your subscription. That means I want you to become a subscriber because you like what we do here and you like this kind of content. It's just an open forum chat. We talk old gear, new gear, and hopefully in the future, new digital signal processing. So hopefully everyone can go along that journey with me. So as I learn, I will tell you guys right up front, from someone that's old school that loves analog rack mount stuff, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons on how I adapt to converting to what is pretty much standard now. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll answer some more questions. And we just need a break time. So it's about a 5-minute break. Gets you time to get something to drink, hit the restroom, get some victuals. If you're from Australia, maybe hit a Vegemite sandwich and a Foster's. If you're from Australia, they say we don't drink Foster's. But anyway, it's a good joke. All right, guys, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Any questions you guys have or a new topic? You know what we're going over tonight. It's rack mount stuff. It's I/O, cabs, guitars, anything music oriented, even if it's mixing stuff. Let's kind of go over it and just post your questions in there, and when we come back, we'll hit them one at a time. All right, guys, let's take our break. All right, guys, I did turn on the fan, so if you guys hear any background humming, that's what it is. But needed some air. I can get my headphones on here. We do have a channel strip. I can knock that out. Hold on. Let's see. All right. Check, check, check. All right, that should be a little better. That'll take out some of the background noise. All right, if you guys just tuning in, uh, I did go ahead and order the Behringer wing rack. That's why I was saying I'm moving on to digital. Um, so basically, it's a 48 channel console, but it's not 48 channels like what you guys are kind of thinking. Like I have a 16 channel board, but there are 16 mono channels. So if I want to run a stereo channel, I have to type channel 1 and channel 2. So now I'm down to basically 15 channels because channel 1 and 2 is going to be my it's going to be my stereo channel. With the wing rack, it's 48 channels, but all 48 channels are stereo, and it uses one combined slider. Okay, if you want to set it up that way to control two channels. So in reality, it's actually 90 some channels. That's not why I got it. It has 24 inputs. It only has 8 outs. It has 4 headphone outs. It has the AEU out. It has the XLR jump back feature where I can tie in a P16 controlling board, and that's probably how I'm going to use it. The only thing I really need access to on my bench is the slider. I'll preset everything else up in the rack mount, okay? So I didn't order that with it, but they make a little console. It's about this big. It sets up on your desk, and it gives you 16 sliders, mutes, and a mix. So you've got 2 buttons on each channel. Since it's stereo, I can push that button, and it gives me right-left control or blend, okay? 1 slider, 2 channels. So let's say I have a guitar, okay? Everyone's heard of wet dry mix. So I can do this in a stereo fashion. I can have my right, left dry, okay, going in channel 1 and 2. And my left dry going in 1 and 2. Or my wet 1 and 2. Each channel stereo. So on the left of channel 1, I have dry. The right, I have wet. On the other channel, I can do my right channel. Okay? So I'm using 4 channels. I'm still stereo. But what I'm doing is I can add my dry signal into my effects where I can wet the signal. Okay? I can add more effects and also have that dry guitar signal. This is really handy if you're doing like cleans. Because if you plug your guitar into a pedal, okay, 100% of that signal goes through the pedal, the chorus, and you lose the original signal. So imagine this is your signal. Now you're going to split it. This signal goes right to the amplifier. This signal goes into your chorus, your EQ, then into the amplifier. And now you can control the level of how much effect and how much of the dry signal you have. So you can really make your effects deep and lush, okay, and then dial them in, but you're still getting an unaltered acoustic sound of the guitar direct to the amplifier. And you control the mix feature on the other side. It's really handy. You can do this with vocals as well. You have your dry vocal and then your wet mix coming in. So even though it's only 48 channels, you have that ability to do that on every channel, if that makes sense. So I think that's going to open up a lot of possibilities. But the big thing it's going to open up is what we were talking about earlier. Linnell has a microphone in there. I don't have a channel strip for Linnell. So anything going on in the kitchen, there's no gate. So it's an open mic. So if an ant runs across the floor, you can hear the little ant stepping across the floor. There's no way that I can bring up the gate to where it cuts the mic off until she speaks. So it picks up all the room noise. Now with the wing rack, it comes with all kinds of free plugins. It's going to be a channel strip in there, and that's going to give me a compressor, de-esser, enhancer, expander, gate. It's going to give me all these things that I have to have individual rack mount units for now. So she'll have a channel strip. I'll have a channel strip. And this microphone behind me, when I'm doing reviews, now it can have a channel strip. So all the mics I can get to operate properly and get the noise floor out of the room to where the mic turns on and off as we talk, even though I only have one channel strip. I have an equalizer. I have an Alesis EQ230 spectrum analyzer. Well, guess what? That only does one channel. Now, with a plug-in, I'll pretty much have that EQ across the board, plus my typical standard mixing EQ, which I call a shelving EQ. So you've got two knobs in the center, so you move the knob to that frequency, and then you can boost and cut it. So you'll have that plus a regular 31 band EQ, all kinds of stuff. Emulated tube, mic preamps, compressors, gates, reverbs, delays, choruses. All that stuff is built into the unit. And it's all changeable. I can have them all different in every channel. If I want, I can go into channel 1, assign auxiliary, outfeed, bring that auxiliary to an effects, okay, in the unit, back to another channel strip, then to a subgroup. Or I can have all these microphones, like this microphone, and Linnell's microphone on a subgroup. Then I can have the guitars on a subgroup, keyboard, drums. Since you got, let's say, acoustic drums, you got an overhead kick drum, you're going to have an inside and in and out kick drum. You know, why would you have two? Well, I want one mic as an inside mic to get the smack, but then I want a mic back a little bit to get the boom. I can put that on one channel because it's stereo. Drums are mono. There's no right and left to a drum. But I can assign that kick drum with two microphones to one channel with an in and out mic, and then I can use the blend knob to blend the two inputs to that one fader till it sounds right to my ear, mixing the outer mic to the inner mic. The power and the versatility, I can't even scratch the surface. I've been watching tutorials, everything I could possibly watch on this thing for like the last 4 or 5 months. And the power of it just out of the box is crazy. With the expansion modules, that's really the only limit. If you're doing this thing and you're in a live show, you're pretty much going to need a Midas expansion module to get more outputs or more inputs. It is 48 channel, but you only have 24 inputs. Why would it be 48 channel then? Well, you can use your AS input for another board. Let's say you have another wing rack, a 32 channel wing rack full board that's front of house. You could take the Behringer wing rack that I ordered and use with the XLR, I can only transmit 32 channels. But they do have a special cable I can run between the two, and I can transmit all that information direct to the other board in a subgroup and have access in both spots. It's insanely stupid. Um, is it a little overkill? It probably is a little overkill, but I want to learn. And when I buy things, you can tell I try to buy nice stuff. I don't want to buy something. The X32 is probably all I need. The drawback is the X32 Behringer rack has been out for a long time. And it's bound to go away because the new Wing series is taking place of the X32 console, the mini console, and the rack. There's really no need for them to have the X32 series anymore. Yeah, it's a little cheaper than the Wing series, but the Wing series is their new one. It also has Midas preamps in it, and if you're familiar with Midas boards, Midas preamps are awesome. They're like Mackie preamps. Mackie preamps are phenomenally good. Midas preamps are even better than the Mackie preamps, if that makes sense. So I can't wait. Now you guys don't expect next Thursday that this wing rack is going to be up and running. I would venture to say it's going to take several months for me to get everything hooked up, get it working, learn how to use it. It's a completely different monster. I'm used to having a button and having to assign through an auxiliary to a feed. It's basically a mixing board with a patch bay all built in. So if I want to send auxiliary 1 or 2 to a subgroup, I don't have to go back and do a patch bay and change cables or send. I can just tell it, I want to assign this signal path to do X. And then it does it. Especially with plugins, because you're going to have USB to the computer. So all my plugins will be controllable through the computer into the wing rack. So I just got the wing rack. I did not order the P16 controlling thing for it. So right now, on the face of the wing rack, there's a touch screen, and there's only 8 channels visible, okay, that you can go up and touch and make changes. With the P16, I'll be able to do what I need, and it'll be right here. I won't have to get up like I've been doing all the way over and get to the board, because all I really need to do is change a level, okay? That level is going to be fine because I'm going to assign things to subgroups. And the subgroups, once I get that level right, I won't need to effectively change it. I don't need outputs because I'm not doing a live scenario. My output is going to be, it has a built-in interface. It has a very expensive, nice interface, stereo interface. So it's going to be everything. It's going to take place of my AG08, my effects, my channel strip, and my Mackie. My EQ, it's going to take place. It's kind of crazy to stop and think a 4U unit is going to take the place of a 30-some U rack and a 16-channel board, all consolidated into a 4U spot. I just saw Blue Mike said I'm a nerd. I know nothing about this thing. There's going to be such a drastic learning curve for me, and I'm sure I'm going to get frustrated. I'm probably going to get upset. I'm probably going to get everything under the sun that probably could go wrong, will go wrong. I'm sure I'm going to plug stuff in, and I'm not going to get a signal output. I'm not going to get this, or I can't get that. I just need to learn the architecture and the interface, and I have no clue. I bought the AG08 interface because it's a mix. It's still old school with some sliders, but it's still an interface. I needed that because I didn't have any experience with the new stuff. So the AG08 has taught me a lot as far as using the computer and the interface and a board. OBS has taught me a little bit as far as the interaction between streaming software and the computer and the interface. I think the next logical step was for me to do this. So anybody that has any experience with the X32 platform or the Allen and Heath platform or the Yamaha TF rack mount mixing boards, please post now or post in Discord, because I'm sure I'm going to have some questions.
Steve said I'll be here to help learn if I can.
Yeah, Steve, I'm going to need as much help as possible. And like I said, don't expect, guys, that this is going to be something that's going to be running next week. I'll probably have it out of the box and show everybody the unit Saturday night. I think that's reasonable. We'll do a walk around on it, maybe power it up. I'm going to download the software tomorrow night onto the computer and just do some basic tinkering around. I definitely need to go out of the mains to my amplifier, to my control room monitors. And I mean, I don't know. I need to keep this system up and running until I get that system running. So I do have another power amplifier right here on my Yamaha. So I might build a separate rack with the Yamaha in it, to where all I have to do is plug in the speakers or get a different pair of speakers, or just something to get it up and running so I can test and make sure things are working. Something simple, just something I can come out of the outfeed to a small amp, to some control room monitors, and play around with it. Once I get my head around it and get more familiar with it, then maybe move it onto the stream and start doing some live work. I just see that I'm going to need the P16 console setting up here, something that I can kind of reach over and just kill channels. I don't know. I'm used to the analog world, so maybe it's completely different. Maybe I can sit there and that channel can be live and I don't get the noise, because I'm not going to have issues with gates. I can gate every channel now. So it won't matter if that channel is live. Now I hear the open mics in the room. I don't have enough noise gates and compressors and limiters to do it. All the little problems, all the workaround things that I've had to do should be gone. But I'm sure it's going to introduce a bunch of new problems that I'm completely unaware of. I'm sure it will. But I'm gonna do it. I need to do that. I think this channel will be better. And maybe it'll change the way the channel operates a little bit. I get so many people, I forget who posted earlier, that said, man, you've got a lot of the same equipment I like. There's a lot of interest in this stuff. No one talks about, everyone on YouTube talks about the new stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the new stuff, but you can get good deals on older equipment, like this Egnator. This is an SWR bass amp. Guys, I'm telling you right now, this is a stupid good amplifier. There's a reason why Fender bought them, because Fender was threatened by SWR. That is a stupid good amplifier. If you play bass and you want a nice amp, find an SWR. They were built with people like me in mind. Right here, it's a 1U space. They knew, hey, someone's going to put a rack mount DSP unit in it. We're going to make a 1U rack mount space in the amp. So you can slide your effects unit right in it. Now you're set and done. I have an Alesis Quadraverb in mind. I mean, you can put anything. You can put a mini verb in it, a Digitech Studio, an ART, maybe a Digitech, had some rack mount bass units. The possibilities are endless. And you can find these. These are good. This is a dual 10 with a horn. Great amplifier, but nobody talks about SWR. Why? This is a good viable option for people that want a great amp. Find one used. It's a great amplifier. I'm not saying a Rumble's not bad or whatever Fender's doing. Fender makes a heck of a bass amplifier. That's why they bought SWR out. So there's a lot of equipment that we can kind of go over and talk about. I love that old stuff. We did go do a basic walkthrough on the rack one night, but that was it. We've never actually done a walkthrough on the rack over here. I don't know if this camera will show it. There's a rack right here full of equipment. I don't think we've actually done a show going over everything that's in that rack. Maybe one night we can do that as well. It looks like a spaghetti nightmare in the backside of this Odyssey case. There is no such thing as cable management in the back of this flight case. You open it up and it's bad. If something goes wrong and I got to switch something, you can ask Linnell. It'll take me 5 or 10 minutes just rooting through it to figure out where the cable actually goes. It's a mess. No cable management. I know bars, like the new racks have little bars with holes through them, so you can bring your cables down, you can zip tie them all together, and it keeps the flow, and they're marked left, right for this. No, there's not one cable in there marked left or right or where it's going, whether it's keys, bass, guitar, amp, this microphone, that microphone. It's a crapshoot. When you get in there, you're like, where's this going? And there's several effects loops because that board has 4 OG sends, and all 4 OG sends are going to effects units through insert cables. Oh, no, there's 2 more. There's there's actually 4 insert cables. There's an insert cable for each subgroup as well that are going to effects units. So there's 6 effects units in the rack. It's a cable nightmare. All that changes with the wing rack. I no longer have to have any inserts, no OG sends going to what I normally try to do. I'll go out on an OG send to an effects unit, and on the return, I bring it back to a channel. Why do I do that? Because if my guitar is on channel 2 is my dry signal. My OG send is going to the effects. If it comes in on channel 10, when I bring channel 10 up, that's my wet mix. I'm going to have channel 1, which is my guitar, and channel 10, which is my wet mix, go to a subgroup 1. That way I can raise and lower subgroup 1, and I don't have to move 2 sliders. Once I get that blend right of my wet and dry mix, I assign that to a subgroup. Now my subgroup is assigned to the main. So let's say all my drums are from channel 11 to 12. Once I get all that mixed right and the sends right, I assign that to channel subgroup 2. That way when it's all said and done, I can move 1 slider for my drums, 1 slider for the guitar, and then you have your main out. That's how I've always set up a board. The wing rack opens up so many new ways of doing things. I don't have to go out and then back in. So my guitar is actually tying up, in my case, 4 channels because it's stereo. So I have right and left dry, both OG sends going to an effects unit, then the return. Then I'm also tying up 2 subgroups because my subgroups, guess what? They're mono. So I want to keep my true stereo signal. I have to assign subgroup 1 to left and subgroup 2 to right. The wing, everything's stereo, even though it's 1 slider. So it's not 48 channels. It's 96 channels. It's just, my brain is exploding for the versatility. So it's going to take me a little while, and I know I'm yucky about it, but I'm excited. It's the first new piece of audio production gear that I've bought 30 years. Now, I did buy a new Akai keyboard to replace my Korg M1, and I bought a Mayato time clock. So I have a nice SMPTE code Mayato time clock. Now with this wing rack, I can do SMPTE codes through video, through audio, and I can lock. It's crazy what I'm going to be able to do between the Mayato and the wing rack. My cameras and nothing else is set up for it, but in the future, as I expand and grow and get better equipment, my baseline equipment is set up to accept industry standard timing codes. I use my Mayato very little now. Guess what? It's going to get used a little more now. And when I get some good cameras that accept SMPTE code, then that's when it's going to go off the chart. Because I'll be able to send a code from that Mayato to the cameras and to the wing rack. And the wing track also has, I think it's 64 channels of DAW recording capability in the, it's either 64 or 32. It's some crazy amount of, now it's channels, remember it's 2 channels per slider. So if it's 32, it's 64. Whatever, however it works. But that's built in to the machine. Now I can slide that out and I can put a Dante card in it or a Fire card or whatever. It's crazy, but it ships with the DAW recording module in the unit. It's crazy. So I don't even need the laptop to record to. I can do everything through a tablet and record DAW-wise right into the wing rack. It's crazy. How many channels out over USB? I know XLR is 32 channels. So I can transmit 32 channels through XLR to another wing console, to a breakout board, or a stage box, or the P16 through XLR. I'm not too sure how many over USB. It also has ASU output, and I know that covers more, and it has 3 of those. There's a tremendous amount of multi-channel single plug outputs on the back of this thing. It's crazy. It really is. So 2 of these units are a powerhouse. A lot of people, what they've been doing, they've been buying the bigger wing rack, where it's a 32 channel console and it has the wing rack in it. Now they turn around and buy another wing rack and they bolt that and they put the 2 together with a stage box. And you end up with 100 and some channels with online recording in the box. Because the larger wing console has X amount of onboard recording through DAW. And then the wing rack also has it. So really, your tablet is just an interface for certain things, especially if you already have the larger board. I really need to get into it more. The more I watch, the more I realize I'm going to use about this much of it. I need about that much of the technology. For what I'm going to do here and what I'm using it for, I'm not even going to scratch the surface on what the thing is capable of doing. And I like that. Because just because I don't need it today doesn't mean a year from now, if I buy something and go, well, it'd be nice if I could do this. Odds are that wing rack is going to allow me to do it.
How many channels out over USB?
Yeah, I said I don't know how many channels out over USB it is. I remember doing on Sweetwater, they've got a bunch of tutorial videos, and I remember that being a topic along with the ASU. And I never knew, but they also transmit 32 channels over an XLR cable. So it's sending some kind of binary code through the cable. I do know because I just watched that last video, it's a maximum of 40 meters on the XLR cable. And it's a maximum of 2 devices before you have to power the second device. So not only is it transmitting the signal, but it's also powering the device. I don't know how it's doing that. Transmit the signal and powers the device. One device. If you put another P16 in it, along with the wing rack can power one through the cable, but then you're going to need to plug the transformer into the second unit. If you go XLR to the next unit, it can't power all 3 units. So the way I understand it, they go in groups. I can pigtail 2 16s through XLR, because that's 32 channels. Then that gets routed to one of the 3 XLR channel inputs on the back. So that controls 32 channels, and I can do that into 3 groups. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, I can have 6 P16 controllers on one wing rack. It's crazy. But you would never need that. You can also do different stage box. You can have 16 in with 8 out, or 8 in and 8 out, or 16 in or 16 out through ASU. It depends on what you're plugging in and what you need it to do. Hey, Angry Trucker Bob. We were just talking about you earlier. It was all good, man. All right, guys, I am going to call it a night. If you can't tell, I started coughing there. So I'm not 100% over my sickness, but I definitely want to thank everyone for coming in. I do try to normally play the guitar more, but just so everyone, if you're just coming in, I hurt my finger, so it's so sore. I'm really having a hard time playing tonight. So we just kind of went over gear, and hopefully everyone's as excited as me about the wing rack, and you guys are going to go with me through this journey. Every time I learn something new that it can do, or something that I see money savings as far as doing a system like this, I'm going to let you guys know. Everybody knows I'm old school, and I'm kind of set in my ways. So if this guy can make the change, you can too. And I'll be honest with you, if I hear this thing and it's all digital and it just loses the warmth that my analog system has, I'm going to tell you. But if it sounds clear and it sounds wonderful, and I don't have the floor noise and all the things that you get with pots and potentiometers and sliders, because now none of that exists. Your signal's not going through any of that. Imagine how dirty something is after 30 years, and the signal's got to go through all those dirty pots and the signal traces. None of that exists anymore. It's all fake. It's all routed through printed circuit boards and computer chips. I don't say it's fake, but you get my point. It's less resistance with all the pots. I don't know. But I'm going to let you guys know. If I think it's artificial sounding, I'm going to let you know. But from what I understand, you can't top it unless you spend in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in analog equipment to get something that sounds better than these new Behringer. I know. I'm from the days where Behringer just sucked. If you bought Behringer, it just meant you were poor, you wanted something cheap, and Behringer ripped off everybody and did it for a fraction of the price and didn't care if it was noisy. But Behringer was smart. Look at the companies that Behringer has bought. People go, you bought a Behringer board? Behringer bought Midas. Midas is a big board company, world famous board company for their mic preamps, their ruggedness. The wing rack has Midas preamps in it. The preamps alone is worth what I paid for that wing rack. just for the preamps. Eliminate everything else. $1,800 for 32 Midas preamps. You would spend more for a 32 channel rack mount Midas preamp channel strip. You would probably spend $4,000 just for the channel strip. And now you've got all those Midas preamps in the board. There's 32 of them. It's either 32 or 24, whatever it is. That's worth the admission price right there. So I'm really excited. Hopefully it won't be like when you order a new guitar and you've set your hopes up this high, and then when you get it, you're like, oh, it's not that good. So hopefully I won't crash and burn when I start this thing up, but I'm going to be like, oh, this thing sucks. If it does, I'll tell you guys. I'm praying and I'm hoping that it's going to be as good as I've been told that it is. And I have been saving and crunching and doing everything I possibly can to be able to afford this thing. So, baby steps. So, next will be a P16, and then we'll just take it from there, guys. But I'm really excited. So, Saturday night, if you guys want to see a new Behringer wing rack, well, we're going to have it out. Not being in use, because, like I said, I want to learn the ropes first. But we'll do that on Saturday night stream. And hopefully my finger will be healed up to the point where I can actually play again. It's very sore. But I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, it's 10:06. So it's been a 2-hour stream. Thanks, Brian, for coming in. Well, we did a little stream last night since you were absent. And I told everybody during the stream, Brian, I said, I can't take place of Brian's stream. He does things totally different. He talks, and you're much more intuitive and in with the people in the chat. I'm just not, a little bit different content. So I apologized, but I did grab the torch and do a little, everyone I think was having Brian withdrawals last night. So just letting you know, I talked to a couple of people and like, oh, Brian's not streaming. I'm like, okay, let's do a little stream and get everyone's, everybody's emotions up and happy again. So we did a little stream last night. I appreciate anyone that come in last night and just hung out for a little bit. That was fun. All right, guys, we're going to do our 5-minute ending window. And remember, go over to Discord if you want to enter in the Washburn. The Washburn is downstairs being disassembled. So when we look at the Washburn, it's going to be in parts from now on, but that is this month's guitar giveaway. If you want to enter to win, you need to be publicly subscribed to this channel. You need to go over to Discord, go to the opt-in room and say, I want entered in on the Washburn RX25 giveaway, and you're set. We're going to pull a name out the last Saturday of this month, and then I need about a month to get the guitar ready. So it'll be about 30 days after the drawing date is when we'll ship it. And of course, we'll do a bunch of videos on it, just like we did on the gym, on what we did with the guitar. So thanks a lot. If you guys haven't, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It takes a tremendous amount of work to do these streams and the videos here. And hitting that subscribe button just lets me know that I'm kind of doing what you guys want me to do. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a great night, and hopefully see you Saturday night.